Let's pretend for a second you're an online business owner, but you happen to not like sales, even though it's a huge part of having an online business is selling digital products, selling coaching, consulting, selling your agency. You have an online business you don't like selling. It sounds weird, but you'd be surprised at how many people this is. They don't love the act of selling. They don't love being on a one-on-one call and feeling sleazy and slimy, trying to figure out the right verbiage, the right way to handle objections. I know this because I'm one of those people. I actually highly dislike sales. Despite the fact that I have sold millions of dollars, whether that's in my 9 to 5 gigs or whether that's in my online business where I'm doing coaching, consulting, my agency. Again, I've sold millions of dollars and I've never once considered myself a salesperson. So if this sounds like you still want the result, right? You still want to grow your online business. This episode of the podcast is designed for you, people like me and you, the normal people, I think, that don't love the always be closing mindset. Now, over my career, I just kind of mentioned, I've sold implementation services for like a SaaS company. I have sold online courses, coaching, all of those things. I think the most impactful thing that I've sold that completely shifted how I think about selling, that ultimately made me the quote unquote salesperson that I am, was actually coming from trade schools. So I was about 24 years old. And at the time, I was finishing up my career as a professional MMA fighter. I literally was working in a bus yard during the day and then getting punched in the face at night, barely squeaking by. I lived on my brother's couch at the time. And I kind of thought, hey, maybe it's time to get a real job, right? Maybe it's time to get paid to sit in an office instead of getting punched in the face. Maybe my scenery can go from office to, or from a cage to an office. I thought that was a good transition. So I was like, let's figure this out. So I'm looking online, looking for, anything really entry level. And I see this ad talking about how you can be an admissions rep. You can inspire people to have a better career, selling essentially a trade school. Now, I apply, I get the interview. Funny thing is, I literally, up until I got the job, had no idea what an admissions rep did. I just kind of assumed it was like in the movies or whatever, right? There's just someone pushing papers. You'd read some resumes or whatever, or applications, and be like, oh, this person's a good person. They should go to our school. That's what I thought it was. Turns out admissions is selling, except for they don't call it selling. They call it enrolling students. So mind you, again, first interview, there's 40 other people. I'm the youngest one there. Everyone's seasoned, been in the career super long time. I'm super competitive. I'm like, I don't know what we're fighting for here. I don't know what we're competing against for. Because again, I don't even know what a mission rep does, but I'm going to win this. And long and behold, I go on to be an admissions rep. Funny enough, every book I picked up on sales, I think the first book that I picked up was Sell Like Crazy by Grant Cardone, which is like the book that salespeople usually gravitate towards. There was something that I picked up on that immediately, like I enjoyed the mindset stuff a little bit. Like I remember there's a part of this book, and Grant Cardone's talking about how you need to be positive. And you'd be surprised how negative you really are. And I think there was this exercise in it where he said, hey, I dare you to document every time you're negative, right? And keep track of that. That I liked. I was like, okay, this is interesting. But the mentality of sales, the always be closing, coffees for winners or whatever the hell, I just never gravitated towards. It felt really transactional. Didn't love it. It was all about how could I make the most money via commissions. Even still today, when you look at sales gurus, their big thing that they poster everywhere is I made $20 million in commissions selling solar or whatever it is. And that's a flex for sure. And I think you should be able to show, hey, look how good I am at this craft and I can help you. I don't see anything wrong with that. Just for me, I don't like the transition, right? I don't know how to even word it. There's something about it just feels wrong to me, okay? So despite all this, I'm learning it. I have to get it, happen to be decent at it. But it's more than anything because of when you're working for a trade school, it's a lot different. It's a lot different than a normal sales gig. Because in a sales gig, it's transactional. So I'm selling widgets. I sell you a widget, you hand me some money. I literally never have to talk to you again unless you need more widgets. And they say, hey, it's relationship based, right? Like if I have a good relationship with you and you need widgets, you'll call me. You won't call Tom over at Widgets Co. You'll call Raylen over at Dunder Mifflin Widget Company. I know Dunder Mifflin's a pipe company, but you get what I'm saying. And again, still felt very transactional. Versus in a trade school where I was working, it's a long-term relationship for a couple of reasons. One, what was interesting is if I enroll you into school, okay, I'm taking you from I'm currently in a dead-end job that I hate. I want a career in welding, massage therapy, whatever. I want this different career. I need to change who I am in its entirety, right? I need to have new habits, new behaviors, get over my fear, get over all of these things in order to even sign that piece of paper to enroll. Then once you enroll, where it comes really interesting is, let's say there's usually in the school that I was working for, it was 10-week periods. So for 10 weeks, I would be enrolling for the start, they call it, when the school would start. Now, here's the part that's most interesting to me. And again, the part that really changed the way that I think about selling. It's if you enrolled, let's say, and school didn't start for 10 weeks, you had 10 weeks to change your mind. And you couldn't get any, there would be no ramifications. You didn't owe us any money. And in fact, even after that 10 weeks, you had to sit in class, actually show up to class for 3 weeks in order for it to count as what they call a start. It just simply means that the school gets money. So for 13 weeks, let's just say, I had to make sure you didn't change your mind. That meant that every week I had to make sure you're still motivated. I had to check in and make sure that there was no one out there getting in your ear telling you, oh, this is a bad idea. What are you going to do with your life? There was 13 weeks that I had to truly be almost like a mindset coach for you to stay the course so you can get to the dream outcome that you want. This isn't sales to me. I thought this was different. This is what I consider now enrollment. Enrollment is about a transformation. It's about I have this vision in my head of who I can become, not what I want, right? But who I get to become to get what I want, to step deeper than that. My job is to give you a vehicle and to encourage you to actually pursuing that vision of yourself. I think the difference here, for me anyway, is that again, a transactional sale is I'm giving you the thing. Here's the thing that's going to help you get there. Whereas with transformation, I know going into this, you and I are signing a commitment to each other that I'm not only going to give you that thing, but I'm also going to give you something else that helps you become the who that achieves that goal. That to me became the obsession. It wasn't the I got the signature or hey, I made the money for the company. It was this person is completely different now than when they originally walked in. They had a transformation. To go one even deeper, right? Like I've never been in another sales organization or been in a part of another sales thing where there's this student. I used to write handwritten letters to every single student that enrolled. And I remember after he had graduated, it was a few odd years later, he's going to a different school. He was going to a 4-year university for something else. And I see him and he has a binder for his school. And there is my handwritten note still on the top, still in the binder. Years after I had met with him, there was something about our interaction that helped him transform. He wanted that written note as a reminder. So now, okay, I'm out of the trade school industry a few years back and I started an online business. And I started diving in. How do these online business owners do sales differently? I'm reading the same books that everyone else is reading, right? One sales focused this. And I realized once again, this doesn't fit. Doesn't make sense. If I'm selling coaching, right? At the time I was selling coaching. And I was thinking to myself, okay, what makes me different as a sales coach? That's what I first started off. I'm going to just do sales coaching. And the thing that made me different was I hate sales. And I'm a sales coach. When I tried the whole transactional sales to get the thing, I realized, well, it's a little bit different because I got to fulfill on it. I still got to see you, right? I can't pull a fast one on you. I can't manipulate your words to get you to say, yeah, I can't do all that because at the end of the day, I still got to meet with you for the next 12 weeks or however long my program is. I can't leave you with a bad taste in your mouth feeling like I have to enroll you. I have to help you become the person who would go through my program and be highly successful. So there came the enrollment side again. My favorite part about this is that every time I enrolled someone, there was never a time I felt bad about it. The methodology of sales, when I was being transactional, I felt icky afterwards. But enrolling somebody, at the end of the day, it's their idea. I'm just giving them the vision. I'm helping encourage them to stick to their word and do what they said they're going to do to change their life. And in some cases, the funny part is in some cases, I still had to be pushy, but not in the way that you thought. I never pushed a product. I pushed the person. I didn't care. My whole methodology is this. I don't care if you buy. What I care is that you enroll. And either way, whether or not you buy from me or not, you're going to enroll. Now, here's what I mean. Let's say, for example, I'm selling a course, which I'm always selling a course. I have a course right now that I'm selling called the High Ticket Enrollment System. I don't care if you go and buy that course. What I care about is I'm enrolling you in the idea that you need to find your way to sell. That there's a better way of selling than what Joe Smo is doing over there or what used car salesperson over here is doing. I'm telling you that you could find your way to sell. And you should start to pursue that because without it, you don't have an online business. You just have an Instagram or a YouTube channel that blows up or whatever, but you're not really making sales. You don't have a business, you have a hobby, and that's cool if that's what you want. But if you want more than just a hobby, you have to pursue the journey of finding your way of enrolling people. That is what I care about. So yeah, sure, I get messages quite often. Someone will say, hey, this completely shifted the way that I think about X. No, I didn't buy the course. No, I didn't buy the whatever, but I shifted my mindset and now I have this result. That means more to me than the money. The money is just a vehicle. There's many different vehicles out there. The funny thing is, I think the most shocking thing about this to me was that framework that worked in trade schools works even better online. It works even better in the coaching and agency landscape. Why? Because people are people. It doesn't matter. And what's interesting is, it doesn't matter who I do this high ticket enrollment to. It could be someone that's just starting their business, or in some cases, I just met with someone recently that's literally a 9-figure entrepreneur, has 50 some odd entities, I think, something around 50. That same premise and the same questions I ask is the exact same, and it still works. Why? Because people are people. And the questions are simple. Who do you have to become? What needs to shift in order for you to get the dream outcome? Be, do, have. Be the person. Do the things. Have the outcomes, right? Be, do, have. So what ultimately, who do you get to be in order to have that? It just so happens that the who you get to be is someone that gets to work with me or someone like me, whatever. It doesn't have to be me. And then in that interaction, you make that decision and you decide to enroll. And again, once again, if they don't, you let go of the outcomes and it is what it is. So I told you at the beginning of this, right? Like if you are someone that doesn't like sales, I want you to try this methodology. Shift from, hey, I need to sell someone, to I need to enroll someone. And I have something that's going to help you do this. I think I've dropped it probably a few different times throughout this episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're not, I'll put it in the description, but it's what I call the 6-figure call guide. It takes people through my exact checklist that I've used for years now to enroll people into, again, a suite of different products and offerings. It'll work for just about anything. I haven't found anything that doesn't really work for. That's not true. The stuff that doesn't work for is, again, if you're selling a widget. That to me is not that interesting, so that's why it probably won't work. In every other outcome, in every other industry, this thing will work. You download the checklist. Again, I'll put it in the description of the podcast, as well on YouTube, and also on the video so you can see it here and grab it. Download the checklist, go through it step by step, test it out. I guarantee you, if you go through the checklist, you'll feel a lot better at the end of that, whether they buy or not. And I think that's the whole point. If you feel better about what you're doing, what you're offering, how you're helping people, and the way you're getting them in the door, it shows on the call. There's no pressure anymore. You don't have commission breath. You're not pitch slapping people. You're simply just offering another way of looking at things. You're offering them a transformation. Whether they take it or not, it's not up to you. How you deliver that is everything, and that's what this checklist is for. So go and check it out. If you're struggling, once again, to sell in your high ticket in your online business, stop trying to sell. Start enrolling.